Timothy Johnson said preseason rankings, they just shouldn't exist. In fact, no rankings should roll out until the first week of the CFP rankings. Otherwise, the whole nation's perception of teams is automatically biased from existing rankings based on no real games. Okay, so Timothy's saying any rankings out there before games have happened, do away with them. They should be illegal. If we elect Timothy King, he deems them illegal. Well, number one, of course, it's impossible. This is almost something that goes without saying. It's impossible to do away with preseason rankings, even if everyone wanted to. But let's say there is a world where it's possible to somehow snap your fingers or like presidential executive order, and all of a sudden you cannot do preseason college football rankings anymore. Why does it matter what the nation thinks? Has always been my follow-up to this. Because Timothy is not alone in feeling this. I think a lot of you feel this way, mainly the ones of you who get victimized or you think your team is too low in the rankings and they struggle to climb the rankings all year versus the teams that start the season ranked high, and it seems like they've got to lose multiple games to fall out. I get all that, but my question has always been, if the committee is not impacted by that, what does it matter? And the follow-up you give me is, well, the committee is impacted by it. To which my follow-up is, you're mad at the wrong thing. Don't be mad at the preseason poll. Be mad that the committee was dumb enough to fall in line with it. Like, be mad that they didn't have the wherewithal to think independently. The polls are always going to be out there. If you're right and the committee is impacted by and swayed by what the public thinks, get new folks on the committee. Get mad at the committee, which a lot of you then follow up and say, I am mad at the committee. Marriage to preseason rankings is the problem. Having preseason rankings is fine. I'll have a set of my own. I'll have my preseason power ratings, but here's what else I'll do. I will let one half of football in week one matter more in my preseason going into regular season ratings than the previous 6 months combined. Sure, I'll load all the unit rankings in there, and we'll put every bit of intel we can in there, and we'll go based on data-based judgment as much as we can, but there's no substitute for football games. That you and I agree on, Timothy. And so once the games start happening, you better be ready to pivot. If you think that way, there's nothing wrong with preseason rankings. However, if you marry yourself to them, which early on in my process I was guilty of, that's your problem. You get so worked up on these takes and you get emotion entered into the equation, and you go through July and August and you argue with your buddies or you do all these talk radio hits and you have to defend your position, well, then you get so prideful and you get so dug in that when a team you had ranked number 3 loses in week 1, you drop them to like number 6. And then they sputter in week 2 and they stay at 6. And all the while, if a team you had ranked 22nd did the same thing, you would never bump them up. Rankings are different than ratings. I intentionally do power ratings so I can get away with that sort of thing. But if I ranked teams and I had someone ranked 6th and they underperformed in week 1, I should be willing to drop them into the 20s because that's how much football games should mean. But the committee should not be impacted by that because the committee should have predetermined criteria that makes them blind to anything that anyone else thinks. That's always been my take on the whole do away with preseason polls thing. Also, they're fun. I just think they're fun.